Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do a cooking video on an open fire. I'm making a pork and cabbage in a Dutch oven. I start by cutting up some kindling wood here with an axe, and it's pretty dry, so it's great. There are pieces that came off with different things. This is maple, pretty hard, and the other stuff is softer. It is, I think it's cypress, and there's some pine in there too. Sorry for the hum, that is my neighbor's tractor in the background, but this land is kind of remote, and I'm making it like a getaway cabin, and this fire pit is part of that, and just having open fires and cooking on them. I'm going to be building an outdoor kitchen. I'll show you that build as I make it. Please hit the subscribe and the notification button, and you'll see that video once it pops up. That should be real exciting. I'm very much looking forward to an outdoor kitchen. So my fire pit, I got some stones to raise around the outside of it, so it kind of goes down, and I have to step down into it, so it's not exactly easy to get to. I'm going to have to change that and raise that fire pit up a bit so it's not such a drop. But anyway, what I'm doing here is preparing a little burn right on this piece of wood to just put in place once I get it cooking, once I get it started, so I'm not crouching down the entire time trying to start this fire. What I'm using here are the wax and shavings that I made earlier. I'll put a link up in the top right corner for you to check that out, how I made those. It's paraffin wax basically and sawdust, so it's a real easy mix, but I made a video on it, so you can check that out later. I'm not sure why, but I have an idea why that one is taking off, that one wax and fire starter is taking off so well versus the other one. I think the one closest to us on the screen has got too much sawdust in it, and I think the other one has more like chips, and I think those catch better for some reason. That's my guess. I'll check into that and make sure, because I don't want to make things that don't work. So here I am unveiling this Dutch oven for the first time. It says it's already seasoned, so I don't have to do anything. But despite that, I decided to put some avocado oil on the base and around the sides, just to make double sure that it wasn't going to get messed up. But it's a beautiful pot. It weighs, I don't even know. It weighs a lot. It was quite hefty lifting it around, but it's cooked beautifully, which you'll see. And that's the handle. Well, it's not really a handle, it's like a hook that helps you take the top off, which is also very heavy. So once I got that little burn going, I stuck it underneath the front part of this fire. Now this fire pit is probably 5 feet deep, which is cool for bonfires, but yeah, not so much for cooking things on, because it got so hot It was just emanating tons. I should have a temperature thing to let you know, but I could barely stand there to do the cooking. But it worked great, but it just is really hot. I need to just build a small fire in the front, cook on that, and work that way instead. So in case none of you know, avocado oil is one of those oils that you can cook at a very high temperature without it breaking down. Some oils you can't do that with. But right now I'm just coating the whole Dutch oven, the inside, the sides, just to be on the safe side like I said earlier. And then I'm actually going to put a little bit of this avocado oil at the base when I throw in the food ingredients. So the burn that I put in there as a starter is going really well, and I added a few bigger logs so I had some pretty decent coals in order to cook on. At the same time, the whole back end of this fire pit just took off like crazy. So this is just a little pan around. That black thing there helps me cut up kindling wood. You just put your wood in there and you whack it with a hammer and it splits it into kindling wood. There's a side shot of the fire pit, and in the distance are my 3 raised gardens and the footers for the outdoor kitchen. Now this is 3 stacks of cordwood, and I have a lot more of that because I had a bunch of trees cut down and chopped up into cordwood. So here I'm going to cut up my cabbage and my pork, and I got a couple cans of mushrooms I'm going to throw in there. I just brought this, what kind of wood is that? I don't know what kind of wood that chopping board is made out of because I didn't make it, but I'm going to use that to cut. I brought that from the cabin outside just so it stay nice and clean. I haven't prepared any other wood or the tabletop here. Eventually I'll put a Danish oil on that tabletop that I'm using. I could use some other penetrating oil as long as it's durable for outside. Urethane, I could use it. They say you can use it and cut on it, but I don't know. I got to think about that one. So if anybody has any suggestions on a good sealant, exterior sealant it's going to get hit by a lot of rain, let me know. Put it in the comments. I'd be grateful. Thanks. So this tool I'm using is called a Gerber Downwind Ulu, and I can't even believe how cool this is and how easy it was to use. The short handle, the wicked sharp blade. I got this online at Duluth Trading Company, and it's just an amazing tool. It's great for camping. I mean, I'll probably use it inside too, but I mean, obviously cabbage doesn't take much, but you'll see me using it to cut up the pork, and just, you know, I think the shortness of it, the curve of the handle, once you get used to using an ulu and rolling it like that, it's different, but it's very effective. I really enjoyed using it. About $50-something, Duluth Trading Company, if you're interested. So I'm using a pork loin here, very easy to cut up. But I probably could have used pork chops. Actually, they'd be better for me on a ketogenic diet because I believe they hold a little bit more fat, and just being near the bone just gives you a better, for the ketogenic diet, a better meat. This is a keto meal, by the way, and the carb count is very low in cabbage, so it's perfect for my diet. Why I'm not using the little hook thing that I showed you earlier is beyond me. I must have had a brain fart. Anyway, like I said, this is a really hot fire and it's cooking fast, boiling the bone broth that I also put in there. I guess I lost that clip, but it cooked really too fast, too hot. And to do this over again, I would try to minimize the amount of coals and things around it. I definitely didn't need to put that piece of wood on top to further intense the heat, but that's live and learn. Speaking of heat, I have to tell you, my camera was so hot I could barely touch it. So I was using a GoPro, but I wouldn't do this close again. I have a different camera I can use to get in closer, but whoa, hot. I added a little bit of mayo to the side just to give it some flavor, which I did for the person I was eating with because I can't taste. I had COVID 5 months ago and I still can't taste, which is kind of a bummer, but anyway, it is what it is. I moved the table that I had right next to the fireplace because it was too hot. I moved it back here, which is plenty far enough, and then whoever's sitting at the bench could also use it as a table. Put their drink on it or whatever. I used these oak logs to make this bench. The slabs are live edge cypress. I'll fill those holes at a later date, sand it down, and put a urethane on it for outside. Over there is where I'm going to build this particular bench. It's made of logs harvested off of my property. I like to be using the things that come from the land. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please hit the like button, subscribe, and come back next week. Thank you.